Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, and we are delighted you're able to tune in with us yet again for another show. Now, before we do get into the top stories trending here in Thailand, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Now, don't forget also to hit that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when the next Thai Expat Daily Show podcast is uploaded onto the platform. Now, if you like listening to us on a podcast player, there is a link down below in the description, and there you will find all the available podcast players where the show is hosted. And finally, if you like the show, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by simply buying us a coffee, and the link is down below in the description for buymeacoffee.com. So now that that's all done and dusted, let's jump into those stories as I was talking about. Now, to recap what has gone on the last couple of days, basically on Wednesday, they never had a vote for Prime Minister. What they did vote on was whether or not to allow a second vote for Pita, and with the total votes counted in, they lost that motion, and Pita was unable to be even voted on for Prime Minister. This has set a precedent now within the Parliament, whereas they're saying that from now on people will only be able to nominate it one time and that's it. So they're going to have to be careful who they nominate from this point on. By the way, a lot of legal scholars are saying this is not correct and this is not as per the Thai constitution, and what really should have happened yesterday was it should have been adjourned, and this ruling should have been sent to the Constitutional Court to decide on straight away, and it's something that could have been done because the law is very, very vague on whether or not somebody can be nominated twice. But nevertheless, that is kind of what happened. Also, within the same day, Pita was suspended by the Constitutional Court pending the outcome of his hearing in relation to his ITV media shares and whether he deliberately hid them from the Election Commission. Now, it's a very strange situation because he's had those shares for a long time, and he even had them when he was an MP in 2019, but yet the Election Commission seemed too interested back then in these shares. Interesting enough, there's another MP on the Pheu Thai Party, which is the party headed by Anatan Charvakul, the famed health minister, who, as many people know, called dirty farangs. I think you remember that term from around the COVID time. He's also got, not Anutan, but the MP himself, he also has shares, but he hasn't been suspended. So there's an awful lot of people wondering exactly what is going on. But if you follow Thai politics, you know what's going on. The establishment do not want Pita. Nevertheless, there's also been a filing at the criminal court against the Election Commission for this exact same thing. Basically, people are saying that they've neglected their duty because they allowed Pita to be an MP from 2019 to 2023 without ever questioning his shares in ITV, even though he did, by the way, he did disclose them to the National Anti-Corruption Commission before he took office back in 2019. So there's an awful lot of stuff going on. Basically, however, Pita now has been suspended. He will go to the Constitutional Court and he'll get to defend himself. By the way, if he does get convicted, he risks 10 years in prison and a massive fine. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think they'll jail him because I think the outrage in Thailand would be beyond belief. And that's the kind of thing I think that they do not want to happen. I suspect suspension for 10 years would be the most at this stage. There also will be another ruling on whether or not Pita and the Move Forward Party are trying to get rid of the monarchy by wanting to amend the Lese Majeste law. This could see them disbanded as a political party. I'm not sure if that will happen too, but again, this is similar to what happened in 2019 with their leader at the time, Thanakorn, when they were also the Future Forward Party. So a lot of different things, but of course they can just re-establish themselves, make a new name and continue on after that. But again, very complicated, very sad for Thai people too, I think. A lot of people and a lot of comments online is, why bother vote if this is going to be the outcome? Why bother vote? Why bother vote for a party when 250 dinosaur military installed junta senators can decide who's going to be the Prime Minister against the will of the people? But nevertheless, that is where Thailand is at the moment. But we are going to get through some of the stories and the scenarios and different things that's going on. But Prayut, he's the first one out today. He's calling for calm. Outgoing Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha appealed for calm on Thursday after supporters of the Move Forward Party leader, whose hopes of becoming Prime Minister has been dashed, conducted two noisy but peaceful gatherings. Deputy Government spokesperson Rachada Dandarek said Prayut has kept abreast of the developing political situation. As the interim government is tasked with keeping peace and stability in the country, he wishes that all sides express their political opinions peacefully within the rule of law and without violence. They should not destroy the economy, trade or investment. It is likely that by the end of this year, the number of foreign tourists visiting Thailand will reach 35 million, she said. Ratchada also said that Prayut understands the frustration of Pita's supporters and urged the public to move Thailand forward in a democratic way alongside the monarchy. The Prime Minister is confident that the nation will soon have a new leader so that people can work together for the benefit of the country, Ratchada said. Pita has been a prime ministerial hopeful since his party won the most House seats in the May general election, but his hopes were dashed on Wednesday. The first blow was the Constitutional Court's order suspending him from being an MP while it considers his ownership of shares in a media firm. The second was Parliament's rejection of his renomination to the top post. On Wednesday, Pita's supporters gathered outside Parliament to support Pita's renomination. When news of the court's order was released, more people joined the gathering. Some cried out loud and one woman fainted. During the night, hundreds of people gathered at the Democracy Monument to express their anger over Pita's thwarted bid for power. They lit candles and took turns to criticise senators and the court. They dispersed peacefully at about 10 p.m. So that's just a little protest last night, not very much. Quite lame, quite peaceful, and not too many people out in the street. It'll be interesting to see how these court cases go and how people react to them in the future. But we'll leave comment for later on. Now, another story is Pheu Thai. They're primed to form the government. So they're up next, I guess. The Pheu Thai Party has emerged in pole position to form a new government after Parliament on Wednesday rejected a bid to renominate Move Forward Party leader Pita Limjaroenrat for a prime ministerial vote, citing a parliamentary meeting regulation. After more than 7 hours of debate on whether Regulation number 41 could be enforced against Mr. Pita's renomination, a majority of joint sitting of MPs and senators voted in favour of the regulation. The regulation prohibits a motion that has been rejected by Parliament from being resubmitted during the same session. They argued an earlier motion regarding his PM nomination was already rejected by Parliament on July 13th when Mr. Pita failed to get the needed majority vote in the first round. In light of this, Pheu Thai has emerged as a frontrunner in forming a government, and all eyes are now on whether the party will remain an ally of the Move Forward Party under the MOU they signed, or whether it will seek to form an alternative coalition by bringing parties from the outgoing government and exclude the MFP, according to observers. The Bumjai Thai, Palang Pracharat and Charit Patana parties, which are part of the outgoing government, oppose the MFT's plan to amend Section 112 of the Criminal Code, also known as the Lese Majeste law. They have made it clear that they will not join any government if the MFP is part of it. After the meeting, Pheu Thai leader Chalan Sirkau said at this moment Pheu Thai still joins hands with the other coalition allies. Whether the MOU will be revised, I can't give details yet because the 8-party coalition must discuss the matter first. We will also discuss whether more parties will be brought in. Dr. Chalan said the House Speaker, Wan Mohammed Noor Mata, has scheduled the next round of Prime Ministerial voting for next Thursday. Bumjai Thai leader Anatan Charvakul on Wednesday reiterated the party's stance against any attempts to amend 112. If Pheu Thai become the leader in forming a government, but the coalition still includes the MFP, which plans to amend Section 112, I won't join it. I don't want a minority government either, Mr. Anatan said. Now, a source at Pheu Thai said the party should be given a chance to nominate its own PM candidate for the next round of voting after Mr. Pita's renomination was rejected. The source said Pheu Thai has now gathered enough support from Bumjai Thai, the PPRP and the Charit Patana party with a combined number of 282 MPs to form a stable government. Most of the 250 senators who are known to have close ties with PPRP leader Prayut Wongsuwan are also expected to back a PM candidate nominated by Pheu Thai, the source said. The MFT will not be forced out of a coalition, but we will let it think for itself whether it should be part of the coalition, that this will only lead to an impasse, the source said. So, a couple of things on this. Firstly, Pheu Thai entering into government with the Bumjai Thai and the PPRP. Now, let's be honest, PPRP are basically the ruling party. These are the people who are the political wing of the coup makers. And in my opinion, for Pheu Thai to enter in with them would be sacrilegious. It would be an abandonment of their values, if they have any, of course. And it would be a big letdown to the supporters. And I think they're also going to have to weigh that up, whether or not their supporters will accept them going into government with these guys. Because remember, for the last 8-9 years, since they deposed their former leader, by the way, Yingluck Shinawatra, by coup. She had to flee the country, by the way, because of these guys, and has never returned since. Now, if they're going to go into power with these guys, it's hard to believe that they would. But these guys are so desperate for a little chunk of the power that they would. They'd abandon their morals. They'd abandon their core principles just to jump into bed with these guys for a little chance of power. It's a sad scenario to see. But on the other hand, it probably will help the Move Forward Party in the next election, whenever that may be. Because I think if they play their cards right, if they take care of their own house, in other words, they stop the nonsense of not checking whether they have shares, thinking they're above the law in certain cases and these things, that the law doesn't apply to them, and focus on policies and other things like that, I think they could come out even stronger in the next election and hammer Pheu Thai. Because remember, people will not be happy if they go into power with these former junta leaders. Prayut Wongsuwan, the general that's half asleep in Parliament most of the time. So it's going to be a very interesting scenario in the next couple of weeks. I don't think Move Forward Party will have issues being an opposition, because sometimes it can work even better for them. But we'll see how it turns out over the next couple of weeks. I think this still has a lot to play out. I still think we could see a lot of political unrest here in the country, but I mean, nobody wants to see that. But I mean, again, as I said, for the Thai people, it makes them wonder, and I do know this from talking with friends of mine, why they ever vote. For what reason? Because this is the nonsense that comes out of it. But nevertheless, we'll move on from that. And two stories that came out pretty much in the same day, and they're both about Phuket. We'll jump into both of them because I think it underlines what has been going on in Phuket for quite a while. The first story is Jordanian man arrested for working illegally as a barber in Patong. A Jordanian man has been arrested in Patong for working illegally as a barber serving foreign tourists. Patong police reported that officers have been informed of the man working illegally through complaints by online news media reporting foreigners that steal jobs from Thais. The officers arrived at the professional barber shop on Prayut 200p Road to find the Jordanian national in the process of giving a male tourist a haircut. The owner of the shop was named as Miss Petlada and the family name was withheld. The Jordanian man, named by police only as Mr. Osama, was unable to present his original passport to officers. However, he did show them a photo of the passport on his phone, which police said confirmed he was a Jordanian citizen. Mr. Osam was unable to present to officers a work permit or any form of documents, police noted. Regardless, foreigners by law are prohibited from working in haircutting, hairdressing or beauty treatment as an occupation reserved for Thai nationals. Mr. Osama and intermediaries were taken to Patong police station for further legal action, Patong police confirmed. Now, on the same day, Russian women arrested for working illegally at a beauty salon. Now, officers from Phuket Immigration have arrested 3 Russian women for working illegally at a beauty salon now in Cherntalay. Immigration officers joined by officers from the Cherntalay police station arrested the women at Sri Lakshmi Co Limited, located in Cherntalay Road at about 3:50 p.m. on July 18th. According to the data for Thai company registration website, the company was registered on the 1st of February only this year, 2023, with 5 million baht registered capital. The women were arrested for working illegally on a permit to stay that did not allow them to work in the kingdom. The 3 women were also accused of performing work in an occupation reserved for Thai nationals. The 3 women were taken to Cherntalay police station to be prosecuted. Immigration officers also confirmed. Now, I have to say, this is probably the tip of the iceberg in Phuket. I could name 2 barber shops in Phuket right now that only have Russian men working in them. And it operates, from my knowledge of this, within a housing estate. But they definitely are no Thais working in the place. And as I said, these kind of stories are the tip of the iceberg at the moment. And it needs to be clamped down because it gives expats and other foreigners who do not break the law a bad name. People coming to this country, if you don't have the necessary skills to get a job, and there's a certain level of job that you have to do as a foreigner here. If you can't meet that level, then you shouldn't be coming to Thailand. And you see these 3 women in a beauty salon all working. You see this Jordanian guy cutting hair, and as I said, it's going on everywhere. And Thais, I can tell you, are getting highly fed up of it at the moment. And it seems that it's one particular nationality that seems to be getting away with it completely, and that is Russians at the moment. They seem to be coming here. Maybe they're escaping the war. Maybe they're thinking it's Pattaya all over again, because the same thing went on in Pattaya for a long time. You had this kind of hint of a Russian mafia running things from behind the scenes. And I read a couple of comments, and particularly from Thais in this article, who said they could name loads of companies, transport companies that are only using Russians, anything that's tourist related. And they said it needs to be clamped out and the police need to get on top of it. And I do understand where their frustration comes from, because they're catering for their own people, let's say, so Russians. But this isn't Russia anymore. So the only people who should be catering for Russians in Thailand is Thai people, and especially if it's in the hospitality or tourism sector. And I do hope the police do get down and start doing a better job, because I think they probably know who these businesses are, but we do know the way things work here in Thailand, that brown envelopes get passed around and people turn the other cheek and turn away from the whole situation. And that's the reason why they don't like, though, at the end of the day, the likes of the Move Forward Party coming into government, because they want to change things up and they want to shut down this corruption. But we're not going to see that now, so we're probably going to get the status quo. More corruption continued along the way until eventually, people finally get fed up here in Thailand, but who knows how long that will be. But nevertheless, folks, that is it for today. Just a quick update on the politics here in Thailand, what's been going on, and those couple of stories out of Phuket. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it all, and we'll talk to you in the next couple of days. Stay safe out there, and thanks again for tuning in. But ultimately, with this story or anything else that stood out to you today, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Because yes, this is a news show, but it's also a conversation. Now keep that conversation going. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and do all the good stuff that does help that YouTube algorithm. But ultimately, my name is Kieran Mack. You've been listening to the Thai Expat Daily Show, and we will see you next time.